So many of you sent me this one. I just got to read it. North Carolina town's entire police force, all of them, granted, and we're going to be reasonable. There weren't a ton of them to start with, but this isn't a huge town either. The entire police force, yep, we're handing in a resignation, quits in protest over progressive town manager. They collectively gave the you-know-what finger to the town and say, yeah, pretty much not doing this. Not so much. You keep this woman in charge, we out of here. And they were. That's what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. Enough of the chit-chat. All right. So Kenley hired Jones as town manager last month after serving in various local government positions in other states. An entire North Carolina police force has quit in protest of the town's newly hired, progressively responsible town manager. How many times are we going to say, we told you so, before cities and towns are like, oh, yeah, okay, well, maybe there is something to this whole progress of the progressive not really being forward progress. It's more like looking backwards and seeing how far you've gone in the wrong direction. That is the terms of progress that we're often talking about that, right? You went really far, just unfortunately in the wrong way. Yeah. So he got this progressively responsible town manager. Whenever I drive by like a really big homeless encampment or just some hideous tagging on the side of the street or a bashed in window in Seattle, I'm like, that's progress. That's progress right there. You guys are doing good. Keep it up. Good look for the city. Looks so good. Looks so nice. I mean, it's almost art. Some would say that graffiti is art. No, it's a hideous waste of good spray paint. That's what it is. Kenley Police Chief Josh Gibson made the shocking announcement in a Facebook post on Thursday, saying the assistant town manager and a key clerk had joined him and his 5 officers in quitting in protest. Yeah, guys, public safety here in the town of Kenley, we're not really doing that. You guys are on your own. Hope you're armed. Good luck with that. 2 thumbs up. Bye. I have put in my 2 weeks notice along with the whole police department. How about that? I put in my 2 weeks notice along with the entire police department. He wrote of the force he served with for 21 years. So this is a guy that's seen, town managers come and go. But when are people going to realize, okay, if you hire one of these progressives, things are not probably going to work out well in your town? Look at Seattle. Look at Portland. How well did that? Look at San Francisco. Yeah. How many recalls do you have going on in how many recalls do you have going on in California in general? We know we voted you in, but geez, we can't get you out fast enough. I mean, so many of the major politicians in the state of California, recall. District attorneys, attorney generals, you name it. Mayors, governors, and they all have that common thread. Yeah, at one point in time, people of California, very progressive, right? Always has been. But not progress in the right direction. Just, not going where it should be. But others might argue, well, there's some work to be done that we just haven't gotten to yet. Okay, well, you go with that. I will not hire somebody progressive with my vote. The new manager has created an environment I do not feel we can perform our duties and services to the community, he wrote of Justine Jones, who took up the position early last month. He made it official with a formal letter of resignation to Jones herself. Take that, according to a copy obtained by WRAL, noting that he was the longest-running chief in the area, and he said he felt his force had recently been made substantial progress in dealing with unspecified ups and downs. They're a small town cop department. They're going to have some stuff go on. You get one bad apple in there, or who knows. Manager, rocks the boat. It's like everywhere. You're always going to have some issues. So they've gone through some issues. They squared that out. Now they get this new progressive knucklehead in there. And however, due to the hostile work environment, that's good. Throw that right back out there. Hostile work environment. I can't work in this type of environment. I've been here 21 years and it's never been this hostile. That gets people's attention, doesn't it? Hostile work environment. Yeah, I mean, we're all so sensitive now, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. When are we gonna go back to a little bit tougher? I feel like we're just all bending over and just taking it. Sorry. However, due to the hostile work environment in the town of Kenley, I do not believe progress is possible, he told Jones, without identifying her as the source of his complaint, as he had done on social media. Neither the post nor his letter spelled out specific grievances. Hostile. That's all you got to say. The officers had against Jones. However, the exiting police chief told WRAL he would consider staying if Jones was dismissed. So you got a new city manager coming in. Entire police department quits within about a month. And how do you think that'll go? You think the citizens might say, you know what? Public safety is somewhat important to us. Fire that woman. Bring the cops back that have kept us safe for the last 21 years in the case of the chief, right? Do they do that? I don't know. But I feel another podcast coming up. The town called it a closed emergency meeting for Friday night. I bet they did. Now, you might say, well, there's not a lot of crime in Kenley because, I mean, it's not a huge town. All right. Do you have some county sheriffs around that might be able to help out in a pinch? Probably. Do you think the other police departments in adjacent towns are somewhat aware of the situation and they might run over and help too? A little bit, but what if they got stuff going on in their own towns? Yeah, town of Kenley is out of luck, right? I don't know. So they have a closed emergency meeting. How do you think that meeting went? And you got the mayor. You got the citizens, you got the members of the council. What is there, like two of them? Is there one? Does that comprise the entire? I don't know. But you imagine, all right, guys, close the door. We got to talk. We got no police coverage. We've got none of our police officers left because they all quit because of her, when we just hired on. Maybe we need to reconsider. How's that going to work out? How's that going to look? Somebody either made a very bad hiring decision, or these guys are super sensitive. And if you're a cop that's been around 21 years, I don't know. I'd probably go in the direction of the cop, right? I just would. That seems more reasonable than bringing in some, we're already identifying her as progressive. That just never works out. It doesn't work out. Jones declined to discuss the drastic move, telling WRAL she was not at liberty to talk because of a personnel matter. That's a hiring issue. All of your cops quit. That is your personnel issue. You don't have a personnel issue anymore. You've got a public safety issue because you got no cops. Yeah. And in a time when hiring police officers is particularly difficult, because I don't know if you've heard, but police departments all across the United States are offering big bonuses, big lateral bonuses. Do you think are these guys all going to end up in Portland? They got $25,000 out there as bounty for a job in Portland. $25K. Are they all going to go to Portland? Maybe. Nah, they're going to negotiate this out, right? They're going to negotiate this out, and hopefully this progressive woman, she gets yanked. Just there you go. We need our cops more than you. You're just a manager. She had started on June 2nd after a nationwide search. Isn't it always a nationwide search? What does that mean? Did you look at every available candidate throughout the United States on LinkedIn? Is that really your nationwide search? This is according to my statement, celebrating the hiring of a manager hailed for having worked in progressively responsible positions in several states. Well, apparently they didn't have the makeup of Kenley, North Carolina. The release did not mention, however, the press release did not mention how she had sued a previous employer in neighboring South Carolina for racial discrimination after she was fired in March of 2015. Is she a tricky one? We're not really sure. Don't really know what the circumstances of that one were. But you got somebody who's willing to mix it up, and the police officers said, yep, nope, done. Out of here. Yeah, as you do. She accused Richard County leaders of hostile treatment and for not paying her fairly because she was black and had a disability, court documents show. She also accused the county of discriminating against her because she was a whistleblower who had reported serious fraud, wrongdoing, and violations of the law. Well, so maybe you can explain that one away. All right. But now you've got a personality conflict issue with your employees. Somebody needs to figure this out, right? Otherwise, you got no cops. The lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed in April 2017. Nobody really elaborated on why. Okay, so if I pay you this, will you drop that lawsuit against this group? That's how that went. It comes down to how much, right? Money. Makes the world go round. Money. People want to say, oh, no, that's not how justice works. No, but we're not talking about justice here. We're talking about cutting a deal. That's usually what goes on. Before getting hired by Kenley, she listed herself as principal CEO of her own consulting company. Word of mouth, real time. Her LinkedIn shows. Principal CEO as opposed to not principal CEO, because usually there's like one CEO and they are already the principal CEO. That's how this works. You know, you've got those lines on like financial documents where you got to identify who you are. And I'm always like, what do you want me to say? Yes, it's a corporation, but it's small. I am the only owner because I'm a control freak and I don't want any other jackasses monkeying with my businesses. So it's me. It's an LLC or it's a C corporation or an S corporation, whatever it is of the individual company we're talking about. But I never put down principal CEO. You know why? Because that's not a thing. Put down president. Who cares? It's so ridiculous. Of her own consulting company. Company of one? Yeah. Meanwhile, Johnston County Sheriff Steve Bizzell assured WRAL that his deputies would be stepping up to cover for the missing Kenley cops. All right. Yeah, because I mean, you can't really imagine seeing your police chief who just quit shopping in the grocery store. So yeah, how's that going? Not a cop anymore. I see you're out of uniform. Middle of the day. We don't have any other chiefs around. How's that going? Probably not a great decision, one way or the other, to hire somebody that your entire police department said, no, I don't think so. We're out of here. Or is this a case of just, you got a conflict? I'm trying to be nice here, right? Yeah. I will be here for the people of Kenley, and they can rest assured that they will have deputies patrolling the streets, he insisted. Yeah, but none of your own police force. And that's what the citizens want to see. Sheriffs? Okay. Deputies? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. But your own police force that you used to have before you brought in Miss Knucklehead. Yeah. Hard to say, right? And what's going to happen? I bet you the city folds and said, she's out of here. But we are going to conduct yet another nationwide search for our next city manager. That's kind of a wild one. It's funny because you can say the entire police department left. Now, it wasn't a huge one, right? But again, we're not talking about a huge city. I think it's wild. And I think, yeah, stand your ground. If you are in an employment situation and you've got somebody that doesn't really understand law enforcement, doesn't really understand public safety, sometimes you got to take that stand and just say no to that person's employment. And that's what this entire police department has done. What's going to happen? I don't know. But again, I feel like a future podcast coming on, I will let you know on that one, because this is definitely going to make news. To all of you who sent me this podcast storyline, thank you so much. Here it is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.